talk about voting rights and redistricting and what the GOP is doing. Right now in states like Texas and Ohio, Iowa, trying to do it in Florida and other states where the Republican Party is trying to redistrict mid-district. And the reason why they're doing this is because they're absolutely living in terror. They're trying to gain access to people's information who are on voting rolls. And they're trying to get this personal information in part to be able to impact the upcoming election. You literally have a congresswoman who just got elected in Arizona by over 20 points more than what Kamala Harris carried it in 2024. So this is big, and it's terrifying to the Republican Party. Why is that? Because of what is showing up. They are trying to withhold a congresswoman, or delay at least as long as they possibly can, a congresswoman Gavrila from holding the office that she won, is because she is that 18th vote to be able to release the Epstein files. And they're scared of that because it's more than just simply Trump. It's Trump. It's RFK. It is Steve Bannon. It looks like that you have like Peter Thiel. It looks like you have Elon Musk and others who had connections with Epstein. And it also goes into not just Trump, but his entire family. It goes into all these other people that are going to be connected to it, that you're going to find that a lot of those people who are out there pushing the stories about Pizzagate and all these things, that only Democrats would be connected to Epstein, when that turns out to be complete lies, and the people who were saying that and selling that are actually Republicans connected to Epstein. Now, yes, there will be Democrats connected to Epstein, absolutely. And those Democrats who are connected to Epstein, and I don't care if they are Bill Clinton or whoever the hell they are, suffer. Pay for what you did. I don't care. The problem is that the Republican Party is living in fear because what it will do to their base. You see, their base was fed a lie for literally, they were fed the lie that the only people connected to Epstein were Democrats. And that's not the case anymore. They have to live with that. And then what you have organizations like Free Speech for the People, who has reached 1 million signatures to impeach Trump now. Those 1 million signatures are for 17 articles of impeachment, which is kind of big. But it goes into the size and the scope of Trump's corruption and the inevitability of what's coming. And the inevitability of what is coming is that Trump, if he loses the House, the investigations will hit. And these investigations go into things like, why is the president making $3 billion off of bills that he himself placed there? Why are his children gaining major government contracts that Trump controls? Why is Tom Homan receiving a bag full of $50,000? Things like that. This is why they're redistricting. This is why Democrats have to respond, just like with Proposition 50, to that, because of the level of corruption. And the level of corruption is so high, it literally had Hyundai withdraw hundreds of billions of dollars worth of investment. And the same thing with Japanese firms and other firms. Look at the United States and saying, what kind of a country are you? Literally, it's like, how can they feel safe with us because of the level of corruption that we are operating under and the behaviors of ICE that are unconstitutional? The Republican Party knows they're doomed. They know that they have embraced corruption on a level that hasn't been seen in a very long time, and the use of military forces against American citizens is equally unforgivable. So they know they're going down. They know that they have lost their freaking minds. And as a result of that, they know that they have to do whatever they can to alter the 26 election. So yes, vote Proposition 50. Vote for anything that is going to help people vote. And just understand, the Republican Party knows how guilty they are. They know how corrupt Trump is. They just lack the moral and legal courage that is required to stand up for the rule of law and the Constitution of the United States. And that's why they are doing what they are doing with redistricting. They are terrified of consequences. They're terrified of the truth. They cannot live with the truth that what they were sold inside of MAGA and QAnons and all this stuff was done by people who were guilty of those crimes that they were pointing and saying that only Democrats were doing. But they were doing that in the hopes of getting half the country to protect them. They were terrified of what Republicans, who would never tolerate American soldiers in American streets being used against American citizens, that they would never be able to tolerate it. They would not tolerate this level of corruption. So they created a political and media campaign to spin your brain, to treat corruption as a partisan issue instead of treating it as it is, or treating pedophilia as though it's a partisan issue when it has nothing to do with party. That's why the Republican Party is redistricting. That's why they're trying to access people's voter rolls. That's why they're trying to access your private information that is kept with your Secretary of State's office inside of voter rolls. They're trying to do all of that for one purpose and one purpose alone. Because they've lost the marketing. The truth is becoming almost impossible to argue with. And that truth is that MAGA was lied to. QAnon type people were lied to about something as important as pedophilia. And that is why they're doing everything they can. And that's why we got to stand up and support Proposition 50, among other issues like that, to make certain that we have the power to vote. Why? Because Trump is guilty. Pedophilia is wrong. Making billions while holding public office is wrong. Let's go do something. Get together. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.